When Rob Rene was in an accident, he should have died that day. His lifelong dream of being a professional runner died that day as well. He felt helpless, hopeless. Then when the pandemic hit the world and Rob lost his job, he also lost hope. But this led him to be the success he is today.
Have you ever felt like giving up, quitting, throwing in the towel? Welcome to Never Ever Give Up Hope featuring Carol Graham. She's an author, health coach, and motivational speaker. Backed into a corner multiple times in her life, Carol shares with you stories on how she overcame some of the toughest obstacles a person can go through in life, but refused to give up hope. Rather than admit defeat, an opportunity was presented, and it involves each and every one of you. Carol will feature spectacular guests who will share their messages of hope, encouragement, and their inspiration to prove why life's adversities only make you stronger. And now, welcoming the host of the show, here's Carol Graham.
To Never Ever Give Up Hope. My guest today is Rob Rene. Now, when he grew up as a gifted athlete and runner, he had a keen interest also in health and nutrition. But then, Rob got hit by a truck. Welcome, Rob.
So glad to be here. Thank you, Carol.
Well, we are going to have some exciting things to discuss today, and one thing is going to be regarding pain. And this is a subject that I am keenly interested in personally, and I know my audience would be as well. Many different types of pain, per se.
Yes,
And
yes,
you are
yes,
going to
yes.
be addressing this issue as well. But first of all, let's start with the dream, your dream of being an athlete as a young person.
All right, sounds good. It's an interesting story just because when I was young, had two older brothers, and my two older brothers were were I looked up to them. My middle brother was my mentor, and he was out on a fun run one day. My mom took us to this on the weekend. You know how they do those weekend fun runs, and I was young, and my brother was running a 10K, and I was probably 8 or 9 years
Hmm.
old, and he was had his shorts on and was all ready to run and getting warming up for it. And then I saw this other little boy that was about my age. He was in his singlet and had running shoes on and his shorts, and he looked all professional and he was all warming up. And I looked at my mom and said, "Hey, can I run this?" And she about fell over and says, "What? You want to run a 10K?" And I'm like, "Well, hey, if he can do it, I could do it." And she's like, "You don't have any shoes. You're in pants." And I was like, "Yeah, what the heck? I want to try it." So I decided to go do my first run. I'd never run before, and I did that 10K with my
Oh,
brother,
my word.
and it was pretty crazy. I had no idea what I was doing. And But at the end of the day, I ended up beating that young boy.
Oh,
Uh,
my goodness.
and it was just like, hey, that one of those wake up moments where I might be actually good at this thing. And, I really kind of enjoyed it. So I started running, and my brother was obviously, my mentor. And so he helped me learn how to train. And that was great. So I started my young, as an athlete, I liked to play basketball and other things, but running just was something I naturally
Hmm.
excelled at. But one of the things that I had found while I was in high school, I read this book that was really transformational. The book was called Eat to Win.
Hmm.
This leads into my story because it really taught me how what you put in your body fuels your body. And when as a young kid in high school, for example, most kids are out eating cheeseburgers and hot
Hmm.
dogs,
Hmm.
and not fueling their body correctly. And I did just read that book, so I'm eating of the right grains and the right carbohydrates to help me be efficient in running, and in long distance running, it's really important as the race progresses that you need energy as the race progresses. And I had seemed to be much stronger than my competitors just later on in a race, and so it was pretty phenomenal. I think that was a big part of my success as a youth, as I learned early how to take care of my body and fuel it when I
Mm-hmm.
needed it. And, I ended up winning a national cross country championship when I was young, and then I ended up getting a full ride running scholarship to a
Oh,
Division I
goodness.
college. And man, I was so excited. I had just made the U.S. junior team, even, which is the 19 years and younger. I was the
Hmm.
second best miler in the country,
Awesome.
and I was just super stoked. And I was like, okay, my dream of being a professional runner isn't that far off. And then lo and behold, that's when I got hit by a truck when I was out running that winter, and that accident was devastating. Literally, I was out running, and my friend was running with me. It was in the winter, and we were in Utah, and he yelled my name and said that, and I turned around and saw this truck just sliding right towards me and said, "I'm gonna get hit. I'm
Oh,
gonna get
my
hit." And
word.
boom,
Wow.
hit me in the hip and threw me 36 feet
Oh,
and
my
landed
goodness.
straight on my face and knocked me out. And so I'm laying on the side of the road, bloody and unconscious. And then bloody nose I'd had earlier in the run would clogged my throat. So not only was I unconscious, but my throat was clogged, so I couldn't breathe either. So if it wasn't for my friend, and I believe intervention by God, that I would have died that day.
Hmm.
Yeah. So ever since then, I've really felt that I had a calling. That had God had me
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
this earth for a reason, and I never knew what it was. And for the longest time, especially after this accident, at first it was just super duper devastating. Right, I had lost everything that I had been training for my maybe 10 years of running, and my goal in life was to
Hmm.
be that professional runner that
Right.
we talked about. I lost that, and then it was even, Carol, when I woke up the second morning in the hospital. I really went through a devastating period because I looked at myself in the mirror,
Oh.
and I just started bawling because the whole left side of my face was a great big huge bubble. I
Hmm.
looked like the Elephant Man, and
Hmm.
I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody with deformalities or just issues with their face. But when I saw that, I thought that was going to be how I was going to look for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I thought, I literally was just devastated. I thought no one's going to love me. And I still, it still brings back those emotions of just
Well, it was shock. You were going
yeah,
through shock.
it was shock. And I just thought that that's what I had in store for the rest of my life, was that. And it was really scary. And so I went through a period of time that was just devastating, and I just was depressed and couldn't be around running. I couldn't do a lot of things. But I didn't want that to define me as a person, so I ended up going into finishing my degree and I ended up getting married. So I was like, okay, I got to take care of my family. So I got a sales job and started selling enterprise software. And I did that for decades. But that's that's where I ended up getting my second big problem was during that process. I had I was in sales, so I was entertaining clients a
Hmm.
lot.
Right.
And when you're entertaining clients, you take them out to lunch, you have a drink. You take them out to dinner, you have a few drinks, and then after you go to dinner, then you're supposed to take them out to the bar, right? And then we go to the bar and we have even more drinks, and that became a really just a big habit of
Right.
mine. That over probably 15 years or more, I drank
Hmm.
every day, and it was 5 o'clock somewhere, right, as they say, and
Your
that
wife,
became a
did
really
your wife
big
drink as
problem.
well?
She did, but she would drink a glass of wine, right?
Okay.
She'd drink one glass of wine, and that was that she'd do that maybe once or twice a week, and whereas obviously I didn't have that smarts.
Hmm.
So I ended up just drinking way too much, and that became a really big health issue. And and then the pandemic hit, and that's what really transformed my life was the pandemic, because the pandemic hit me, and I call it the second truck that hit me,
Oh,
Carol. Like that first truck that hit me, it was like just changed the whole direction of my life, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be an athlete anymore, and here's a new change. And then the pandemic, when it hit, I lost my sales job, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? But I referred back to my childhood and learned, I saw the the attack on all natural health. And I couldn't understand it. And I was like, what the heck is going on? I, like everybody else, had all these questions, right? Is this real? Is this going to kill me? You have all these fears and things that you're uncertain about. And, but I knew that, from my youth, that what you put in your body, not only fuels your body, but it heals your body. And
exactly.
then, so I was looking at these things. I'm like, okay, how can I help myself? I'm like, I'm gonna go get the vitamins and minerals that my body needs to make sure I have a strong immune system. And then I would see the attack on these all natural health doctors.
Exactly.
Like okay, they were recommending vitamin D, and they're like crucifying this doctor. I'm like, what the heck? I mean, he's just telling you something that's God given and natural. Why are they attacking him? And I couldn't understand that. It just didn't make any logical sense to me. And that's when I started doing research on what I call the medical cartel. And I started looking at the onset of our medical system, and just dove in and did research for months and months and months. And that was one of the things with this pandemic that I learned, was to not to believe anybody or anything. And I don't mean to be
No, I
facetious,
agree. I hear
but
you.
I don't believe what anybody tells me anymore, because I what I did find out was really devastating to me, and it really
Yes.
made me mad that we could be deceived and be lied to in such a dramatic fashion. And so now when I do research on something, somebody will tell me something. My wife gets mad at me because I love her to death, but she's like, she'll tell me something, and I'm like, okay, I'll take that information in. That's interesting. That's an interesting topic and an interesting position that person has, but I'm not going to believe it yet. I'll take that information, then I'm going to go cross check it against all my resources that I've done a bunch of research on, and then only then will I make my decision of whether or not that said thing is true or false. And so it's just discernment in my opinion.
Exactly.
You have to think for yourself now. You can't let
Somebody
anybody
else.
else.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if you found that, Carol. Have you found
Well,
that
you're preaching to the choir
okay.
because back in the early 70s, when I first of all cured myself from cancer, which I got
Amazing.
as a result of a vaccine, I
Uh,
started doing my research. I'm a health coach and have been for close to 40 years. So I hear exactly what you are saying. And I thank God that no one in my family, including, my children and grandchildren, have been subject to the poisons that the medical system wants to put in our body in any
yes.
way, shape, or form. So yes, I
Oh,
applaud
yeah.
you. You sometimes stand alone. I'm sure you
Yes.
felt that, and you're trying to swim upstream. But once you make that decision, and I know that this is what happened with you, once you make that decision and you dig your feet in, unless someone can prove otherwise, and you are looking at the research, you're not going to change.
No, yeah, you're so spot on, because and you learn that the research has been paid for.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
know?
that's just a side issue that we could talk about for the
Yeah.
next
And
six
so,
months. I mean,
oh my
well,
gosh,
that's
it's
what I
just
found. That's what I discovered, like way back in the early days when I started discovering, like, children's vaccines. I mean, this is
mm,
in the 70s.
wow. I wish I would have met you way back when. Yeah,
But
that's
it gives you
amazing.
the strength that you need. You're not just going
Yeah.
to make a stupid decision or based on nothing. You've done your research, and
Right.
then your problem is, which you are talking about right now, is getting people to believe what you have found.
Yeah,
And
and
that's a
that's
whole
what's
other subject. But anyway,
it
I,
is.
I cut you off there for a second, but
No, I
please
wanted to
continue.
ask just if
Yes.
we were on the same page. This is
Good.
excited that we are because what I found just was devastating. It's like, okay, we've literally been, or I had been lied to my entire
Mm-hmm.
life. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know it, and
Yes.
that's what made me mad. As I was just in the matrix, as they call it. Like, it's like I was I was doing what I was told to do. I went to college and I got my degree and I went to work full time and I did what the world tells you you're supposed to do and I got married and I had 3 kids and did the whole thing. I had a house and I had just like everything that they tell you that you think is what you're supposed to do. I did and I didn't had no clue that I'd been deceived my entire life. So that was really eye opening to me is when I realized that, oh my gosh, we are in a matrix and that there are evil people in this world that are really controlling your information. And when they control your information, they can control the agenda,
That's
and
right.
they then that agenda you hear it 10 different times, you think it's true, because it's all told to you in a little bit different way. That's when I did the research on Mockingbird Media and how the CIA
Hmm.
infiltrated our media, and then you start going down these rabbit holes of
Yes.
the
Yes.
the things that my brother had told me. I thought he was absolutely crazy, and then I started researching these things. I couldn't disprove him on anything. I'm
Good
like,
point.
oh my gosh, you're probably right. I said that's interesting. So then I dig in more, and then that's what led me to this medical system and medical cartel. I was just like, okay, this sucks. So how can I help people in this world? Because the what we're being told and what we're being taught is just wrong. And so I decided I was going to go create some supplements. And so that's what I started looking at. I was researching some supplements. I found this amazing, what do you call them, formulator. And the formulator is like going to create these neat, solutions that were going to help people. But then he came to me one day and he goes, Rob, have you heard of quantum energy? And I was like, quantum what? Because I had
What?
never heard of what he was telling me. I'm like, no, quantum energy. What's that? I've heard of quantum computing because I was in the technology field, but never heard of quantum energy. And
You've tweaked our interests now, and this is a whole other subject. We're going to take a very short 15-second break, and when we come
okay,
back, we're going to dive into what you just brought up. Choose quantum energy, chronic pain, everything that you just talked about. We're going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk about that. I can't wait to hear what you have to
it's
say,
exciting.
and we will be right back.
Carol Graham would like to show you the path from misery to miraculous triumph in her fast-paced memoir, Battered Hope. She relates her determination to succeed as someone who experienced one horrendous nightmare after another. Gang raped and left for dead, loss of a child, husband falsely imprisoned, and cancer. Nothing could break her tenacity or faith. No matter what you face, heartache, loss, suffering, or injustice, Carol will illustrate how she became a victor the same way you can. The secret is to never, ever give up hope. Order your copy at Amazon or batteredhope.blogspot.com.
Mentioning that, the quantum energy discussion, I'd never heard of that term. So he introduced me to this scientist. I call him the mad scientist just because this gentleman has been working on this stuff for so long. When he explained to me what he was doing, I just didn't get it. I'm just like, okay, but what's that skill that I talked about just a few minutes ago, right? When somebody tells you something and you want to make sure you believe or disprove it, or if you want to understand it, what do you go do, right? You go do your own research. And so that's exactly what I did. Is I took this
Good.
information and I said, okay, what is it? This guy's telling me that he can take information and put it on a patch, and this information has frequencies on it,
Wow.
and it can help you with your health, and it can help you with pain relief. And I was like, how is that possible? That doesn't make any sense to me that I can put this little sticker on me and it's going to help me with anything. So I did 100% did not get it. I didn't understand it. So I went and dug in and did the research and I said, okay, what does this mean? And what I found was fascinating. It was like our body is made up of energy. That's a fact I really didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand. I knew a lot about my body, but I didn't know that it was made up of energy. I'm like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then, researching even down to the cellular level, our cells interact via vibrations, and those vibrations are AKA frequencies. And so when they was talking about frequencies, and I'm like, okay, so frequencies aren't as weird as I thought they were. Frequencies are actually everywhere. The what you're listening to my voice
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
is a frequency, right? The cell phone that you put in your pocket and you talk on every day and text on uses frequencies. Color is a frequency. Sound, all these things are frequencies, and I'm like, okay, so then frequencies aren't weird, and there's good and bad frequencies. As I found out. So then I started, understanding that the frequencies aren't weird. And then he said he puts the intentions on, of things on these patches. I'm like, intentions? How does that work? And so I started doing research on that. And what I discovered was Dr. Emoto. Have you ever heard of Dr. Emoto, Carol?
I believe I have, but I can't confirm.
Yeah,
I
no
think I know
problem.
who you're talking
It's
about.
just fun. I invite your listeners to go look up Dr. Emoto and his rice experiments and his water experiments. He
How do you spell this name?
It's Emoto. It's a mere Emoto, and Masuri Emoto. I've got his. Let me see if I can find his book. Oh, here it is. Full name is Masaru, and then his last name is Emoto. And he wrote many books. He's got a New York Times bestseller called The Hidden Messages in Water. And it's just phenomenal. What he's proven is that these intentions and other things have a physical impact on
Hmm.
external things, like this water. Like the water experiments he's done are just incredible. You'll see like a water crystal before and after an intention or a word that was spoken over the water, and the after is just picture is just beautiful crystal, and before it's just you can't even tell what it is. And so anyway, it's just fascinating. And then he did this rice experiment that I absolutely love. That he did an experiment for 30 days on these 3 jars of rice, and they both had water, or rice that was in water in a jar. And he told one of the jars that he hated it, and he would swear at it. And then the middle jar he would love, and he said, "I love it." And then the third jar he would just ignore. And he did the same thing to these jars for a 30-day period. And what he found after the 30 days was just phenomenal. The one that he swore at and was saying you're disgusting, it ended up being moldy and gross and ugly. The one that he cared for and he said he loved and had good intentions towards was basically still white. It was a little murky because it was been in, rice had been in water for 30 days, but it was still white. The rice was, and then the one that he ignored was just as bad as the one that he hated, and it was just as disgusting. So, and the fun thing about that is, many people have repeated that experiment, and it works.
Unbelievable.
It's just
Wow.
so it's crazy. So you realize that your emotions and your intentions can have a physical impact on external things, like the water that he did, and like these jars. And it's just you start understanding that the power of intention and the power of prayer and the power of your thoughts. And it's like, wow, this is really, really intriguing. So combined with the frequency discussion and then the intention discussion, and I was just blown away that these things have physical impacts on external things, and then Bible verses. So he includes Bible verses on the patch, and then I have since become a really strong Christian in my faith, and so I understand the power of prayer, and I understand that I can have a conversation and relationship with God. And so it was when he mentioned he was putting Bible verses on it, I was just like, oh, this is really exciting. So I was like, let's test this technology out. So we have these patches that have those three things on it: the frequency for the issue, the problem, and then the intention towards fixing that problem, and then the Bible verses. And then you apply it to your body, and it connects to that energy system in your body. And so I was like, let's test it with our community. My brother had a small community of people that would listen to his podcast, and we shared it with them. And my gosh, they came back with just glaring results. It was like, my gosh, I've had pain for X number of years, and now it's no longer there. We went to a trade show, and this woman came up to us and had chronic shoulder pain for 10 years. She couldn't lift her right arm. It hurt so bad. And she came back an hour later, and she lifted up her arm, and with a tear in her eye, it was just like, I can't believe it. I haven't been able to do that
Oh my
for so
goodness.
many years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then she came back the next day and said, I was able to sleep for the first time in a really long time because it didn't hurt while I was sleeping, because she wore it at night as well. So we started getting stories like that where it's like, okay, this is phenomenal. Not only is it really helping people, but it's all natural. It has no interaction to any drug. It is not a drug. It's just using natural frequencies. And I was like, okay, this is actually really interesting. So I ended up working with my brother, and we created a company to take this out to the world, because we saw how transformative it was and how evil our current system is. And we're like, let's go help people naturally. And that's what we've ended up doing, is creating this company called QE Strong, for quantum energy strong. And it helps people with all sorts. We have 14 different products, but pain relief is our marquee product that is by far the most effective product
How
we've got.
how is the energy contained in that patch?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, and it's something that, again, as I was doing the research, had to figure out. So what we do is he sprays this substance on top of the patch, and it's got a little microscopic crystals on it, and then those little crystals are like a computer chip on a computer. It can hold information. So when he programs those frequencies and intentions onto those little microscopic crystals on top of the patch. And so just like when you stick your thumb drive into a computer and it transfers information from your thumb drive to the computer, he's doing the same thing with information. He's taking it and applying it to those little crystalline structures on top of the patch. And so then he puts the ink over the top of the patch, which holds that information on to the patch. So when you apply it to your body, it's in a good state. So when you do apply it, it connects to your energy system in your body.
How is it released into the body?
Yeah, it just literally automatically connects to your energy system. So anything that your body has an aura and an energy system that goes about 6 to 8 inches outside of your body. And this is proven stuff that you can go research, is your human energy field. And when you put a frequency inside that, in that field, your body will react and interact. We even have these EEG studies. EEGs are the brain waves.
Right, right.
So we have these studies where it shows you're wearing one of those EEG hats that have all the cables going out of the mat on your head. So it's measuring your brain waves, and we can prove that when you apply our technology to that energy field within your body, that within 5 seconds, your body recognizes it. And it's fascinating. The studies we have done, people that were in pain, they would, their brain waves are really hyperactive. So they're really going up and down. If you can think about a brain wave on a scale, it's going up and down, from bottom to top, maybe from 0 to 10, it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. And then when your body's in a really good state, in a comfortable state, the brain waves are very elongated. So they're not going up
Huh.
and down in a
Huh.
sharp motion. They're going, very slow. And what happens when you apply the pain patch, for example, on the body, is your brain recognizes it within a few seconds, and then over time, over minutes and sometimes hours, your brain waves start to smooth out in a dramatic fashion because your body's not dealing with that interruption anymore. It's not recognizing the pain, so it's no longer in stress. So it's really cool to see how it works.
Now, do you put the patch specific, let's say it's head pain. Do you put
Yeah.
it on the head?
Yeah, you can, because your mind is very powerful of what where you put things. But what's fun is your body is all made up of energy. So it's like you're applying this patch to your body, and no matter where let's a better analogy is the bathtub if it's electrified. If your bathtub is
Okay,
electrified,
right.
if you stick your finger in it, does it matter where you stick your finger? Right? It doesn't, right? It's all electric. So that's the same thing. You can apply the patch to your body, and since your body's all made up of energy, it'll work anywhere. So I tell people that, but then I also say that, hey, if you have your elbow is hurting you and you think it's going to help by putting the patch on your elbow, put the patch on your elbow.
How long
Because
does it last? How long is the effect, and do you have to keep doing it?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. It depends on the problem and the issue that people have, and that typically our patches last a couple of days. So they last as long as the ink lasts on the patch itself, and so they are not waterproof. So if you're going to take a shower, you want to take the patch off before you take a shower, and then reapply it. Last for a couple of days.
So how often do you have to do it? Like, is this a cure? I know you can't use the word cure, but is this something that you do the rest of your life for this area for pain, or does eventually the body respond and you don't need it anymore?
Awesome question, and of course, yeah, we cannot say it heals anything. We just say that it will help with your inflammation response, and so what it does, in my opinion, is it just gets your body in a good healing state. And then your body does the healing. We don't heal anything. God is the ultimate healer, and he can heal things, but our product just gets your body in a place where we think it can work better, and then it can heal. But yeah, no, our product does not do any healing in and of itself.
So if you are in chronic pain, which we all know people in chronic pain,
Yes, 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 yes.
is this again? Do they look at, like, they're purchasing the patches? Do they look at like a lifetime, or can you
Yeah,
address that just a
hopefully
little
not,
clearer?
right? Hopefully, well,
Okay.
what that's my mission is to help people with pain. That's why I think you know that I have a podcast called I Am Pain Free,
Yes.
because I want to help people understand the sources of pain and help them remove those sources of pain. So our product is going to help with their pain relief. In my opinion, it will. Everybody's different, and you need to talk to your medical professional before using any type of medical system, right? There's the disclaimer. So, um,
Yes, exactly.
but at the same point, the product works great. It really has helped a ton of people. I mean, literally, we have thousands of people that's helped, and hundreds of written testimonials on the product about how transformative the product has helped people who've been in chronic pain. But then I like to really work with people and teach them there's some really simple things you can do that will start helping you with the source, and the cause. As I've been doing these interviews with these health practitioners, a lot of your chronic pain starts in the gut, and so
Yes, I
if if
understand that.
if you
Yes.
can if you can help heal your gut, then you can start dealing with inflammation. And then, Carol, I'm also just super duper excited to tell you about a new solution. If you give me a few minutes, I'd
Oh,
like to
sure.
introduce you to a new solution. Um, we are just releasing a new a company and a new product, a new brand basically called Exodus. And this new brand it's called Exodus Strong as the brand, and the new product is called Exodus. And this product is literally going to help people in a dramatic way. So we talked about our pain patches. Our pain patches are amazing. They help lots of people with chronic pain. But this product, this supplement, is actually a biblically based supplement. It's got 7 biblical ingredients that help with gut health, helps with energy, and then it also has a molecular hydrogen generating blend. And what that molecular hydrogen does inside the body is just incredible. The more research I do it, the more excited I am about taking this product out to the world, because it's going to be transformative in people's health. So the thing that you mentioned earlier, is this something people need to do forever, or is this something that can heal them? And we've created this Exodus product to really help people. And so I'm super excited about what it is and where it's headed, and the results that we're getting from the early people we've shared it with is just phenomenal. And the molecular hydrogen, when you do research on it, there's been hundreds of actual scientific studies done on the effects of hydrogen inside the body, and the hydrogen works as a master antioxidant. So what that means is, an antioxidant in and of itself can be good, but it can also be bad. What an antioxidant does, it gets rid of free radicals, right? But if you don't have one that regulates, it can actually take out good stuff, and you don't want to take the good stuff out. So that's what's so amazing about this molecular hydrogen, is when in the body, it acts as a master one. So it goes in and works and helps your at the mitochondrial level, your cells work more efficient and effective, and it gets rid of all the bad. So it gets rid of the free radicals and helps the good ones. And so it helps repair things inside the body. That's just incredible. So it's going to help people with chronic inflammation. It's going to help people with stress levels. It's going to help people with blood sugar levels. It's going to help people with cardiovascular issues. And so the list goes on, and it all is backed by scientific evidence and proof. So I'm just over the moon excited about this new product, because it's just going to help people, and that's the whole goal, and why I started this at the beginning when we talked. When the pandemic hit, I'm like, what can this little guy do to help the world? And the Lord has been so amazing, because he keeps introducing me to this mad scientist I did, and I never would have went down that road. I really wouldn't have. I would have never even thought of doing that. And then as we went down that road, I got introduced to this other doctor who's been working on these solutions, and we started working together. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we're taking a product that these 7 biblical ingredients are awesome. It's barley greens and organic wheatgrass, which really helps with the nutrients inside your body and gives you more energy. And then it's got aloe, which has lots of healing properties. And it's got cumin and saffron, which helps with stress relief and inflammation response. And then frankincense and myrrh. And so you take that combination of those ingredients, and it's phenomenal. But then you add that molecular hydrogen generating blend on top of it, and it's just like, wow, the things that it's going to help people with is incredible. So anyway, I'm super excited, as you can tell.
No kidding. Is there a website that describes this yet, or is that not
Yes,
available?
it will be the exodusstrong.com is the site that will be live this week. So our placeholder is up now, and by the time this episode airs, it will be live.
All right, very good. And does that also give the list of ingredients and that kind of thing as well?
Yeah, it gives a list of ingredients, and then it gives you links to all the research reports that have been done on hydrogen. And one of the things I wanted to differentiate is lots of people have say, oh, they've maybe heard of hydrogen water that you need to drink.
Yes.
Have you heard those water bottles that you click a button and it creates hydrogen in it? Those are good. In fact, I've been using one for 6 months because I believe in it. But what's interesting is when it creates the hydrogen, you have to drink it immediately, or the hydrogen diffuses. And then it also diffuses when you actually put it in your mouth and goes
Mm.
into your esophagus and into your gut. By the time it gets into your gut and then it goes into your body, it's even diffused dramatically more. So that's frustrating because it's like how much of that hydrogen is actually getting into my body, and it's very, very small. But the amazing thing about our solution is this supplement. It's got a blend in it that when it touches the fluid in your body, it creates the molecular hydrogen. So your body uses all of it or at least a large majority of
Interesting.
it, because your
Yes.
body is what creates it instead of it outside of your body in water. So it's just super super exciting about how we're going to help people through this. So we can help you with your pain, on the surface level, and it's going to help people with chronic pain. And then like, hey, let's start taking care of that issue, right? What is
Right.
the way that we can help people? And I believe Exodus is going to be a big part of that because it's going to help people cure that gut health we talked about earlier, right? If you can cure your gut, it's going to reduce the inflammation all throughout your body. And then when you reduce the inflammation, you're reducing pain, right? And you have diabetes, for example, or you have blood sugar issues. This product will help with that. You have cardiovascular issues, this product will help with that. You have the cognitive issues, this product will help with that. So it's just like, wow. It's so fun.
Endless. Absolutely
Yeah, it's just
endless.
unbelievable. And
Yes.
I don't mean to just say it's going to help everybody with everything, but
Hmm.
it is going to be such a dramatic help to people that I really want to get it in people's hands, because our goal, we include one thing I didn't even mention that's super duper important in my opinion, is we include a prayer guide that goes with every product, because we really believe in the power of your mind, and we believe in the power of prayer. And we believe that when you say the prayer out loud, you're using your eyes to read it, your mouth to say it, and your ears to hear yourself say it. And you use the touch or the supplement. You're using the touch with that either inside your body or on the surface of your body. And the combination is you're using 4 out of your 5 God-given senses to help you with your health. And so our goal is to get 1 million people to be reading the Bible through their health. So they're trying to improve their health, and they're reading their Bible every day because they're trying to improve their health. So we're trying to make an impact that way as well.
Well, again, you're preaching to the choir. My book I normally don't do a commercial, but it goes right along with what you're saying.
Awesome!
My book that came out in the fall is flying off the shelves, and the title is, you ready? You holding on?
I'm excited.
Pray the answer, not the problem.
Ah, I love it. I love it. I love
So
it.
anyway, you again are preaching to the choir. I hear
Yes.
everything you're
Yes.
saying, and consequently, my audience will as well. Well,
Yes.
our time is up. Is there anything in conclusion that you want to say, or do you feel you've said it all?
Well, gosh, as you can tell, I could go on for hours on these topics because I'm really passionate about helping people relieve
Yes.
relieve their pain and get healthy. Because I think that there's evil people in this world that are trying to do nefarious things, and we need to take care of each other. And the best way we can do that is by just finding good resources of people who really have a heart to help. And I believe that's what we're doing at both QE Strong and Exodus Strong, is to help people with natural ways to combat the evil things that are going on in this world. And you can't be
Hmm.
of service to our Creator if you're unhealthy. And the way that you can please Him and to be an active member of society, and make a big impact on the kingdom, is by being healthy. And if you can be healthy, then you can go help other people be healthy. And then that's our goal. Just get a bunch of people out there being warriors for Christ, and they need to be healthy along the way.
Very good summary. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Rob, it has been stimulating, exciting, exhilarating, motivating, did I say inspiring?
I
And
love it.
whatever ings
Love
are out there, but I sincerely appreciate what you shared today. I'm as excited as you are to start to share this.
so much for your help, Carol, because I can't wait to get getting some of these products, and as soon as
Right.
the Exodus product is off of the line, we're literally going to pick up some bottles this week, and so I'll be able to get you some, and I'm
Perfect.
excited for you to try them. And
Okay.
let's go help the kingdom. Let's go help the world.
Amen. All right. Well, it is time to say goodbye, and I appreciate you so much and what you shared today on Never Ever Give Up Hope. Until
Amen.
next time.
Amen.
Thank you for listening to Never Ever Give Up Hope, featuring Carol Graham. Did you know that most people succeed because they are determined to? Quitting was never an option. Carol loves your comments and will respond to each one. So please subscribe and review this podcast. A rating of 5 stars would be outstanding and appreciated. Remember, if you are still here, there is always hope.